Recognizing the beauty around us and within us, in voice and in spirit, we gather to light our chalice. May we savor the beauty of our abundance and diversity, always cherishing one another and our earth. May we remember to inhale the lushness in life, knowing that we are a people of beauty. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Los Alamos and this video worship service for Sunday, July 26th, 2020. Welcome here into our church home. Thank you for welcoming us into your homes and the sanctuaries you have made there this morning for this worship. As Unitarian Universalists, we affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of all people and gather together in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your life's journey this morning, you are welcome among us. I extend a special welcome to anyone who is coming to our church community through these video worships for the first time. I will hope you'll take the chance afterwards to connect with us through our website or on our Facebook page. And if you have any questions at all about what you are witnessing here in our video worships, or any questions at all about Unitarian Universalism, please contact me with those questions at revjohn@uulosalamos.org. And please join us after this service this morning at 11 a.m. for our virtual coffee hour on Zoom. The link for that Zoom room was sent out over our announcements page yesterday, or you can find it on Facebook in our virtual fellowship hall as well. I hope to see your faces there. And now, let us prepare for our worship this morning. Sit still and feel yourself grounded in your space. Close out all the other tabs in your browser. Close all the tabs in your mind as well. Close your eyes for a moment and relax into the worship experience. Feel your vision relaxing. Give yourself a chance to focus softly so that you might have an experience of being here with us even while we are separated. Feel yourself grounded once again. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out. And let us begin. Let us take a moment to remember all our sorrows this week, everything that has broken our hearts or weighed our souls down. I light this candle in remembrance. And let us call to mind all of our joys this week, for everything that has lifted our hearts and opened them up to one another. I light this candle in remembrance. Please join with me now in a spirit of prayer and reflection. Eternal and beloved, gracious source of all love, Spirit of life, we come together as a church community with gratitude for this time out of time, which we have set apart so that we might become more fully present to ourselves, to each other, and to that which we call holy. May our joys be celebrated together, our wounds be healed together, our hearts be opened together. We give thanks today for the gifts and the graces, large or small, that we have received this week. We rejoice in the love that binds us together with those here with us now, with those who have come before us, and those who will follow. May we live in ways that honor those we have known and loved in the past, recognizing those sacrifices made on our behalf. Where we witness violence and destruction in our world, may we become the hands of the Spirit, building a greater peace. May the source of love give us the strength to speak our needs and to speak out for the needs of others. May the Spirit of life give us the vision to meet the world as it is and the faith to create the world we hope to see. As we celebrate the flower communion this morning and the diverse beauty of souls among us, let us take this moment to call into our minds the image of this circle of care in our hearts. May the hope and the joy and strength that we find within this community find its way into the depths of our souls, giving us strength and lifting our hearts so that we might live out the ideals and embody the soul of this community, however we may gather, wherever we may be. All this we pray in the names of those known and unknown, present and absent, remembered and forgotten, in the names of all the helpers of humankind. Amen.
The Flower Ceremony, A Plain and Simple Beauty. Story by Janine Kane Grossmeyer. In the city of Prague, in the land of Czechoslovakia, in the year 1923, there was a church. But the building did not look much like a church. It had no bells, no spires, no stained glass windows. It had no organ to make beautiful music. It didn't even have a piano. It had no carvings of wood or statues of stone. It had no candles or chalices. It had no flowers. The church did have some things. It had 4 walls, and a ceiling and a floor. It had a door and a few windows. It had some wooden chairs. But that was all, plain and simple. Except the church also had people who came to it every Sunday. It had a minister, and his name was Norbert Chopek. He had been the minister at the Plain and Simple Church for 2 years. Every Sunday, Minister Chopek went to church, and he spoke to the people while they listened, sitting quietly and still in those hard wooden chairs. When he was done speaking, the people talked a little bit among themselves, and then they went home. And that was all. No music, no candles, no food, not even coffee or donuts. Springtime came to the city of Prague, and Norbert Chopek went out for a stroll. The rains had come, the birds were singing, and the flowers were blooming all over the land. The world was beautiful. Then an idea came to him, simple and clear, plain as day. The next Sunday, he asked all the people in the church to bring a flower, or a budding branch, or even a twig. Each person was to bring one. "What kind?" they asked. "What color? What size?" "You choose," he said. "Each of you choose what you like." And so, on the next Sunday, which was the first day of summer, the people came with flowers of all different colors and sizes and kinds. There were yellow daisies and red roses. There were white lilies and blue asters, dark-eyed pansies and light green leaves, pink and purple, orange and gold. There were all those colors and more. Flowers filled all the vases, and the church wasn't so plain and simple anymore. Minister Chopek spoke to the people while they listened, sitting quiet and still in those hard wooden chairs. "These flowers are like ourselves," he said. "Different colors and different shapes and different sizes, each needing different kinds of care, but each beautiful, each important and special in its own way." When he was done speaking, the people talked a little bit among themselves, and then they chose a different flower from the vases before they went home. And that was all, and it was beautiful, plain and simple as the day.
Our reading this morning comes to us from the Reverend Lynn Unger and is entitled, appropriately enough, Flower Communion. What a gathering. The purple tongues of iris licking out at spikes of lupine, the orange crepe skirts of poppies lifting over buttercup and daisy. Who can be grim in the face of such abundance? There is nothing to compare, no need for beauty to compete. The voluptuous rhododendron and the plain grass are equally filled with themselves, equally declare the miracles of color and form. This is what community looks like. This vibrant jostle, stem by stem, declaring the marvelous joining. This is the face of communion, the incarnation once more gracefully resurrected from winter. Hold these things together in your sight. Purple, crimson, magenta, blue. You will be feasting on this long after the flowers are gone. To hold a flower communion over video, really to hold anything we might reasonably call a communion over video, seems to be something of a contradiction, we might think. At the very least, this might be an exercise in futility. After all, how do we commune? How do we gather together to celebrate community from each of our individual living rooms? But as I've said countless times throughout this time of closure, it is the building that is closed, but not the church. And so too, the community is still gathering, despite the closure of the building. The community is still this beautiful circle of care and concern. I know you still care for one another, and I know that you are giving from that care. I hear the stories, of the small kindnesses and the ways we are connecting, the ways that keep the spirit of this church alive, even as we worship from our homes. The beauty of community that Čapek wished to celebrate persists, even in times of adversity, even in times such as these. The beauty of our community is still worthy of a celebration. The flowers we are sharing here today come from the cameras and the eyes of some of our many members and friends. And my thanks to all of you for contributing this week on such short notice. Thank you for playing along. These photos, these images, they are a gift to each and every one of us. They are a gift to all of us. And even if you did not or could not share your own images of the flowers this week, know that you are still worthy of today's gift of beauty. It is the beauty we share that we are celebrating, each from our own capability. And so I invite you today to call into mind the people in your church community who have graced you this year, and especially in these past few months, with the beauty of their spirit, with the gifts of their spirit, the gifts that have lifted your heart and lightened the burden in your soul. Call into mind and see their faces and their spirits in the images of the flowers that we share today. So let us begin our communion of the flowers with the words of its founder, Norbert Čapek. In the name of Providence, which implants in the seed the future of the tree and in the hearts of every person the longing for people living in human love. In the name of the highest in whom we move and who makes the parent and the sibling what they are. In the names of sages and great religious leaders who sacrificed their lives to hasten the coming of peace and justice. Let us renew our resolution, sincerely, to be truly connected, regardless of any kind of bar which estranges one from the other. In this holy resolution, may we be strengthened, knowing that we are God's family, that one Spirit, the Spirit of love, unites us, and may we endeavor for a more perfect and a more joyful life. Amen. Each year, our flower communion is a chance not only to celebrate the shared beauty that we build together as a church community, but to show our gratitude for some of those beautiful souls who have given so much of their time and of their skills to keeping the body of this church operating from day to day. And I have my own thanks, of course, to give to so many people for their contributions this year, several who I want to highlight this morning. First, to our new worship arts teams, my deepest thanks. This is one of the new groups we put together this year, people who came forward who wanted to participate in the planning and the construction of our worship services by helping to generate their ideas and contributing what they know. They have added to the quality of our worship with the sharing of their knowledge and their skills throughout the year, both behind the scenes and sometimes even from the chancel itself on Sunday morning. They have helped me immensely to create worship services that are more than just my own point of view reflected back to you. I have appreciated their contributions deeply, from Ann Payne-Reeves, Barb Fronzak, Carrie Minor, from Elisa Enriquez, Holly Robinson, James Carroll, Kathy Gursky, Kelly DeLacy, from Ann Marsh, Martin Schauer, Mary Herbeck, Melissa Goldman, Melissa Mackey, Patrick Webb, Rebecca Cabildo, Rebecca Howard, Rosemary Almay, Sue Watts, and Terry Berry. My deep thanks to you for participating in this experiment we are all still learning from this year, and I look forward to bringing you back in to the worship planning fold in the year to come. There have been many who have been a deep help, a tremendous help throughout these last months of closure and experimentation with virtual church, and I want to make sure that I express my thanks to them as well. First and foremost, to our audiovisual technical team who have gone above and beyond this year to learn new ways of broadcasting church, to adapt technologies as we learn our lessons the hard way, and to teach others what they have learned so that more can be brought in to work on these technical elements. And most of all, a deep thanks for creating a final service each week that reflects the quality of worship that we hope to present here week after week after week. To Mike Begnauds and to Rick Bolton, my deepest thanks. Thanks as well to my worship committee, the team that helps me find my pulpit guests for when I am out of the pulpit and guide them through worship and help to lead as well. My thanks for keeping quality worship front and center while I'm out of the pulpit, especially in those weeks during our video services, and for being so willing to jumping into learning all of these new formats that we have dived into this year. To Rebecca Howard and Ann Marsh, to Holly Robinson and Sue Watts, my worship team, my thanks to you. My thanks also to our caring network these last several months, who have gone above and beyond in calling every single member and friend as we have entered into this time of separation to let you know that we are thinking of you and we still want to be connected to you. Over 300 people phone called and reached out to by Melissa Bartlett, Mary Herbeck, Susan Gisler, Susan Dryja, Rosemary Almay. Thank you for your efforts, and thank you for also your efforts in keeping me apprised of what's going on in the lives of our members and friends as you learn about them. A deep thanks as well to our Board of Trustees this year. I asked them to do something extreme. I asked them to stick around in their positions for 3 or 4 extra months until we got through this season of adjustment with our COVID-19 separation. It was a lot to ask of anyone in an elected position like the Board of Trustees, and they all agreed, and I am most grateful for their support and for their steadfast leadership as we have worked together through this difficult time and learned and processed the lessons. Our President Susan Gisler, Vice President Barb Fronzak, Jamie Civitello, Bill Prydorski, Patrick Sullivan, Teresa Kalhost, John Detterman, Andrea Detterman. My deep, deep thanks to you all for sticking around and sticking with me through these difficult times. Also thanks to my senior staff, to Tina and to Nyla and Susanna, for jumping feet first off a cliff with me into these strange times and making church happen, and to be so ready and so willing to meet remotely and work together and do the extra work necessary to keep church alive during these times. And finally, I want to express my thanks to our COVID reopening advisory team, the people who have gotten together to help me draft the measures and the policies by which we will make the hard decision as to whether to open or not again to in-person worship and other activities. Thank you all for doing the near impossible task of sorting through endless data and conflicting advice so that we can develop a plan that is sensible and is safe and that reflects our values. That team is Susan Gisler, Barb Fronzak, Rebecca Howard, Denise Begnauds, Tyler Taylor, Carrie Minor, and Richard Skolnick, who joins us from the Jewish Center. My deep thanks to those inside and outside our community who've helped me with this. I am so deeply appreciative of your contributions these last few months. This is by no means a comprehensive list, but these are many of the behind-the-scenes faces that you may not see or be aware of that make the day-to-day operation of our church community possible, especially now when so much of what goes on in the church community is happening behind the scenes and not in front of your eyes. But I want to make sure that you know, for everyone who has cooked a meal this year, taught a class, made a phone call, worked the gardens, turned a screwdriver, learned a song, shared your gifts, given any of your time and talent to us this past year, please know I am deeply grateful for your gifts and for your passion and your dedication to this community. I cannot say it enough. Thank you.
So today we are expressing our gratitude to all of our teachers and volunteers in our church community. And as your DRE, I would like to express my gratitude today to all of our RE teachers, of our kids, our youth, and our adults. Thank you also to our OWL facilitators who facilitated our OWL programming, our OWL sexuality education programming this past year with our youth. And thank you to Melissa Mackey and the parent volunteers who led our children's choir this past year. Thank you all for your commitment to our RE program. Thank you for your flexibility, creativity, ingenuity, and adaptive abilities, especially after COVID hit. Thank you for sharing in this collaborative ministry of education during this crazy time. I'm also beyond grateful for the support of our RE committee members during this pandemic and racial justice crisis time in our country. The members of this committee have really gone above and beyond in holding our RE programming together during this time of crisis that we are living in. These members have also held me together at times, so thank you. I am grateful to each of you for the sharing of all your time and talents with our church community. Normally, right now, all of the teachers of our kids, youth, and adults and committee members would be standing in front on the stage in our sanctuary to receive their teacher gifts from the RE kids. So in these COVID times, I mailed your gifts to you, and the gift of the Unitarian Universalist Pocket Guidebook is to remind you of your UU community and roots during this time. And I've picked out a reading from this newest edition UU Pocket Guidebook for you all and have marked it in your book so you can find it easily. And I'm going to read that to you now. Religious Education, a journey of transformation. Being part of a multi-generational community, having a place where you can ask questions freely and without shame, designating time to reflect upon how our values affect our lives. All of these are good reasons to participate in religious education programming. Yet, in and of themselves, they are not the goal. The ultimate goal of religious education is transformation. As Unitarian Universalists, we realize that we are imperfect beings. Always we can do better. Be more empathetic. Show up more often for justice. Care for the sick, the lonely, the brokenhearted, and create more love in the world. We are a long way from creating the heaven on earth we all desire. How do we get to that place? If there were easy answers, we would be there already. Yet, each day, we can use our lives to go about the work of transforming the world into a place of peace and love. But as Unitarian Universalist and consultant on multicultural organizations, Paula Cole-Jones says, you cannot transform the world without being transformed yourself. So thank you for being partners with me in this transformative ministry work. And I am grateful. Thank you.
Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? Even in this time of pandemic, the song continues, as Robert Lowry wrote in his well-known hymn, My Life Flows On in Endless Song. Music can unite and heal us, give us comfort, stir us up, help us find courage and a voice, and express ourselves in ways that the spoken word alone cannot. These flowers are for you, and they represent your musical offerings to the church family. You sing joyful in the congregation, participate with dedication in the choir programs, play instruments, and offer your vocal talents, all for the enrichment of the church family. Blossoms of thanks to Melissa Mackey and the children's choir helpers. To the enthusiastic, willing to try almost anything singers of the adult choir. To Yelena Mealy, our accompanist. And to the numerous guest musicians who have shared their talents with us in this past year. And thanks to each of you for valuing the power and the importance of the arts, for your support of the music program, and for me, your music director. Thank you also for your encouragement, patience, and abiding with us as we seek new ways to tap into the endless song in these uncertain days ahead.
One brief announcement here towards the end of the service. I mentioned earlier our COVID advisory team that has been helping me so much in devising the metrics and the policies by which we'll make the decisions of how we will open the church safely again someday. Part of the process of putting those measurements and those policies together is to gather some information about your own attitudes towards gathering together again for in-person worship and for other activities. We have devised a brief survey to gather the data on your attitudes and your feelings about that. The link for that survey and the invitation to take it will be in the announcements email inbox tomorrow morning. Please keep your eyes open for that, and please take some time to share with us honestly how you feel about reopening the church should the time come, and what you expect from us in terms of your own safety in the process. Thank you. Once again, for the month of July, our offering partner is our friends at Self-Help Incorporated. We are inviting you to donate directly to them using the link to their website in the service notes below. They have seen an increased demand on their resources during this time of the pandemic, and we know they can use every little bit of help they can get. Please give as generously as you can to Self-Help Incorporated, and may what you give bring you joy and into deeper relationship with our community. Friends, may life bless us and keep us. May the light of life shine upon us and out from within us, and be gracious to us and bring us peace. For this is the day. This is the one wild and precious life we have been given. So let us all find a way to rejoice and be glad in it. Go in peace.